As this year wraps up, I've been thinking about a handful of lessons I've learned, sometimes the hard way, and I figured I'd share them with the other dads out there who are raising a child with complex special needs. Now, this is not expert advice. This is more like five things I wish someone had said to me before I did the exact wrong thing. So here we go. Lesson number one, humility is a virtue. So when our first child was born, we were still, at the hospital the day after birth, and the nurse said, "Dad, you want to put on her first diaper?" Now I'm thinking, not really, but I can't say that. So showing a little false bravado, I said, sure, thinking, well, how hard can this really be? So I decided to add a little dad upgrade to the process. I put lotion on my itty bitty little girl's bottom first. And because I didn't know how much lotion to use, I thought, well, when in doubt, more is probably better than less. So now my hands are two greased pigs. I mean, lotion is everywhere. I go to fasten the diaper tabs and they won't stick because they're covered with lotion, because I'm covered with lotion. But as you dads know, we don't give up, and we're certainly not going to ask for help. So then I think, no problem. I'll just pull her onesie up tight and it will hold the diaper in place. But before I can turn my cute little Christy into this tiny, sticky burrito, the nurse, who's sort of been watching in the background this whole fiasco, steps in, pulls out a new lotion-free diaper, and fixes the whole mess in about 2 seconds. So dads, the lesson here is simple. Stay humble and ask for help. When it comes to your child's hygiene, health, or well-being, don't guess, don't wing it, and don't improvise. And definitely don't coat your hands with lotion when changing diapers. Lesson number 2. Feigned ignorance is not a virtue. So our son Mikey was diagnosed as autistic at about 12 months old. And after a lot of research, we found an incredible therapist. She taught us a lot in those early years, including hand-over-hand therapy, to help Michael learn a variety of things, including how to eat with a fork and a spoon. Now, my wife, Kay, has infinite patience with this kind of stuff. Me, I have finite patience, which means very, very little. So when it's my turn to feed him, I'm thinking, how many times do I really need to hold his hand so he learns how to use a spoon? He's doing fine without a spoon. He's eating with his fingers like a tiny, happy raccoon. This is great. Now, there was maybe a little food on his shirt and a little in his hair, and maybe some on this chair too, and on the floor. And maybe, I have no idea how this happened, maybe even a little itty bit on the ceiling. But we were bonding, baby. Father and son time. Then mom walks in. Uh-oh. She takes one look and decides this is not bonding. This is a crime scene. So back to hand-over-hand practice I go. And I last about another 60 seconds, and I'm thinking, this is like Chinese water torture. And then, as a lot of us dads do, I got another brilliant idea. I can pretend I don't know how to do it. So I yell, "Kay, I need your help. You're a lot better at this than I am. Just look here. I'm not sure I'm holding his hand right, and my hands are too big to really guide his spoon. You should probably take over for Mikey's sake." And then, like the hero that I am, I added, "And I'll do the dishes instead." And it worked. Kay takes over the hard thing, and I do the dishes. While watching a little TV, of course, because I'm doing dishes, and I know I'm helping out. But here's the thing. Feigned ignorance is a slippery slope, my friends. Pretty soon, I'm not sure what to ask at the doctor visits, or I can't remember the therapy steps we're supposed to practice at the home, or I didn't quite catch everything the OT, the occupational therapist, wanted us to do. And as Kay took on more, I did less. I became more disconnected from Mikey's day-to-day life, less aware of what he loved, less aware of what he was learning, and I was quietly handing Kay the heaviest parts of the load while telling myself I was being helpful. So I am embarrassed to admit this one, and I still don't do my fair share, but I am trying to do better. Now I help Michael take showers in the morning. He still uses way too much soap and barely taps himself with his scrunchie, so I do hand over hand again. "Hey bud, let's really get this clean." And when I let him dress himself, he'll come out, 3 t-shirts on. His socks are never matched, and every now and then he'll even put his underwear on the outside of his shorts like Superman or something. But he dressed himself independently, so I'll take the win. Lesson number 3. Consistency is key. This one might be my biggest challenge, and maybe it's yours too. If I don't know what Michael, and he's now old enough to be Michael and not Mikey, if I don't know what Michael's practicing at school or what his therapists are doing, I can't replicate it at home, after school, on the weekends, or during breaks. And that matters because consistency is the key to instructional control. And instructional control is what will make your life and your child's life a whole lot better. But it is not easy. Here's what instructional control looks like in real life. I walk into Michael's area right before Ellen, one of his caregivers, is about to leave. Michael's at his table, quietly working on a puzzle. He starts to get up when he sees me. But Ellen, in her calm, steady voice, says, "Michael, first finish your puzzle." And like magic, he sits down and finishes it fast. No drama, no screaming, and no behavior. So later that evening, Ellen is gone. Michael's working on another puzzle. I walk in again. Michael pops up and starts running over to me. And I say, using the exact same words, except maybe a little louder, with a little dad energy, "Michael, first finish your puzzle." So what happens? Does he calmly sit down like before? Absolutely not. He runs up, holds his hand up for high five, and without thinking, I slap it like we just won the Super Bowl. "Yeah, buddy, let's go, man." And then he goes back to the table. He picks up the puzzle, and he looks at me like, "Oh, we're doing this tonight." Now I say louder, "Michael, you put that puzzle back on the table right now." So what do you think happens? He pauses, he smiles, and he very slowly flips the puzzle upside down so the pieces fall everywhere, on the table, on the floor, while all the time looking directly at me. And he waits. He just waits for my face to change. And when he sees that frown start to appear, or my jaw clench, he giggles. And there it is. Now, he's nonverbal. He has multiple IDs. He supposedly has an IQ of around 40. But who controlled that situation and who lost it? Because he knows Dad won't stay calm. Dad won't be consistent. Dad will react, and Dad's reactions are fun. So dads, don't follow my example. Learn what your child's teachers and therapists are doing. Use the same language, the same tone, the same calm, the same gestures. Because consistency isn't just nice. It's the difference between a quieter, less stressful evening or you picking up puzzle pieces off the floor while your son is watching or your daughter's watching and learning how to have so much fun with Dad. Lesson number 4, rationalization does not end well. Now, I rationalize a lot. For example, I bring in all the new business in our consulting practice, so Kay should handle all of Michael's and Christy's school stuff and therapy stuff too. Or I need to work out to manage stress, so it's fine if she makes dinner again. Or I'll do the active stuff with Michael, like the walks and the basketball, so Kay can do the easier stuff inside. Or I don't spend as much time with him, so I should be the fun parent, not the one that has to follow all the protocols. I'm a guy. I'm not built for mom stuff. You know, the grass needs cutting and the cars need washing, so I'm doing my share by doing these things. I deserve some downtime. Ball game, couple beers. Kay can take Michael out today. Now, I could keep going, but I bet at least one of these sounded familiar to anyone that's watching this. And notice how they all start with I. What I want, what I need, what I prefer, not what our son needs, not what my wife needs, not what builds a strong family. And this path does not end in a deep relationship with your child or your spouse. It ends in distance, resentment, and burnout. So I'm trying to shift from big heroic changes in my life to small daily choices. One little extra thing every day I wouldn't normally do. Help make that extra meal with my wife. Do bedtime instead of asking Kay to do it. Practice one skill with Michael for just 5 minutes. I'm not perfect, but maybe a little better. And this one leads to the very last lesson. Lesson number 5, the magic of habit building. I'm pushing 70 years old, so you'd think I'd have figured this out by now. And yet there are still things I dread doing with Michael. They're boring. They require patience. Kay still does more of the heavy lifting than I do. But one thing has helped me more than guilt or big emotional speeches to myself. Habits. Small ones, easy ones, the kind you can actually repeat. Like helping Michael strip his bed when he wets it. And yeah, he still wets his bed almost every night, even though he's 36 years old. And then helping him take it straight to the laundry room. Or giving him a quick shower without just stepping in and doing everything for him, but letting him do it himself. Or practicing something that sounds tiny but is huge. not raising my voice when he tries to push my buttons, even diverting my eyes so he can't read the frustration on my face like it's a neon sign. And I track the small wins in my journal every day, because when I do one habit consistently, day after day, it becomes less of a debate with myself and more of a default behavior. And once one habit is solid, I stack the next one. Bedding to the laundry room, then loading the washer, then adding the soap, then pushing start. Now, I know this may sound trivial, but it's not. It really is a game changer. It'll be a game changer for you, your child, and your wife. And if you want help with habits, I recommend one of these 3 books: Atomic Habits by James Clear, Tiny Habits by B.J. Fogg, or The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Now, Atomic Habits is my favorite. And I really believe that if you start this new year building just a couple of small, doable habits, you'll enjoy your time with your child a little more. And you might even see your wife smile a little more too. So happy New Year's to all of you dads out there who want to do better, but just need a little extra help to get there.